Alright, today I have a couple things to show you, a couple records I picked up here. And very nice condition records, or at least I would call them nice condition. Other people can debate me on that one. And I got them at a thrift store. They were $1.50 each. And as you always say, you should have bought more. They got a nice collection in the thrift store, not Goodwill. They don't do records anymore, so there's no even really any reason to shop there. My record friends don't shop there maybe once a week or even less than that, because there's no records to be had. They brought out a couple of things that were, you know, I don't know, some sort of Liberace record there, and it doesn't do anything for me. So that just had to leave that store. Went to the other one, got a couple records, but I had to be there for like 20 plus minutes because somebody had taken the record station and just planted themselves there. They planted themselves there and talked to an employee for like 15-20 minutes, and then when he was done, he decided to start filtering through the records again, and there was nothing I could do. There's only room for one person, and that was him, and he was having the time of his life with new records. He got 8 and I got 2, so I can't be jealous of what he got, so I'll show you what I got. This one was somebody's throwback while I was waiting patiently, you know, but again, it was very rude for him and that employee to basically take the whole spot and then do shopping afterwards and then looking up things on your phone. It's just like, you know, I would just say take whatever you want, then look it up on the phone on the other side and let other people have a chance. But there's no, you know, when you're a reseller, you know, there's no rules. People just, you know, forget all their manners. Anyway, I got the B-52's Whammy, and I didn't care what it was. It's a B-52's album. It's in a plastic slip. Somebody put it in a separate inner sleeve from the original one. Legal Tenor, Whammy Kiss, Song for a Future Generation, Butterbean, Trism, Queen of Las Vegas, Don't Worry Big Bird, and Work That Skirt, and I've never heard of any of those. So that goes into I'll listen to it once pile, and I'll be happy I got it. And if I really like it, I'll listen to it twice. But that'll be the end of that record, and it's in really good condition. What it's worth is a lot more than $1.50, and I'm so glad the first guy put it back. When these records came out, I don't know. But the guy said, these are the records that we just put out. Sometimes, you know, the reason why a picker is right there is because a lot of times the stores know to call people when records come out, and so they're right down at the store. So that could have been what happened. And he was chatting up with one of the employees, one of the higher-ups that probably called him and said, hey, we got some new records in. So that's why you will never find, you know, because it's not really, what do you call it, it's not legal, but it just, certain thrift stores play different, you know, tricks for certain people so they get unfair advantages. They have preferred customers they give stuff to. Not that they make more money on that customer, but, you know, sometimes it's just how it happens. Goodwill got caught by, you know, handing stuff to certain customers and different things, and sometimes they gave some stuff to them and sometimes they didn't in the back behind the scenes. One guy was always having the best furniture come out at the time he was in the store, and everybody's like, well, how do you get all the best stuff? We were here hours and nothing came out. You just show up and all of a sudden the fancy furniture comes out. So that's what happens all the time. It's nothing new, nothing secret. And then this one here was left behind by the guy that took 8 records and a whole record spot, and he basically screwed himself because for $1.50, who's next? Take that all day long and on Sunday. I could decorate my entire room with this cover here and not be tired of seeing it. It's, you know, it's not a pillar out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of a composed shot of some sort of overpass or something. I don't know the whole deal, or parking garage or something. I don't remember the whole deal. And it's got Baba O'Riley. If you don't know that song, well then just look it up. And he was like, oh my gosh, that one. It's essentially Teenage Wasteland. And I was like, oh, that's the song called Teenage Wasteland. No, it's Baba O'Riley. And then Bargain. And then we got, let's see, what else we have here? The Song Is Over is okay. Won't Get Fooled Again. You know, the song from CSI or whatever it is. Won't Get Fooled Again. I think that's that one there. But again, Behind Blue Eyes is another good one. Really, really amazing song there. Sold millions of copies of this from 1971. I was not alive in 71, but I had to get it. And then when I saw the inner sleeve here that somebody's put on here, I said, that's a kicker. This one says Square Deal, recordings and supplies. So I can look up on them and see when that company made those particular sleeves and figure out how long this has been probably preserved in somebody's collection. So our real serious record collector bought this stuff. A lot of stuff, you know, when I say, I would say an audiophile, but somebody who is listening to other things other than just The Who. There's lots of Jesse Colin Young. There was another artist. There was about 5 different. There was a bunch of Tim Weisberg stuff, but that wasn't in plastic. Those Weisberg records will sit there at $1.50, and I might go back and grab those because, you know, I don't have to pay $6 or $7 on eBay for those. So that's my record find of the month, and it'll probably be the only record find of the month. Now let's go into something else here, a complete 180, and I got these little, I don't know what they call it, media slides or what these things are, film strips, okay? And it's like, oh, negatives. And that's what everybody calls these. These are negatives. These are not negatives because I did not have to reverse the image. So they're positives of some kind. And so they're made for media release or something like that. But these strips here have all different movies on it. They're all NTA releases and Embassy Pictures on these sort of things here. And then the other ones are cut into tiny little pieces here. And the little eensy pieces here. So don't know. Now I did look up something before I made this video here. I wanted to verify something here. So I got overcharged on shipping by a lot. So they shipped it in this plastic baggie with 2 pieces of cardboard, and it's Ground Advantage. So Ground Advantage was probably somewhere between $4 and $6 there. And they charged me something like $8 for shipping there. And the reason why they do that is they put everything that they ship in these, everything. But you see, there's no advantage for me because if I buy 2 items, that's $8 per item. And in the comments, the only thing is that the seller did well, but they overcharged on shipping. And people were having a dickens of a time to even get any, and they ignore all your messages, or they don't see them or ignore them. So I remember this from many, many years ago, maybe even 10 or 12 years ago or more. I bought 2 different items and I explained to them, and they fought me on it and didn't give me any discount for shipping. But again, when you're buying something for $12 and $12, their prices are sort of, you know, sometimes affordable, so you got to factor that in. But still, I overpaid by 10 bucks, which was a shame. So I scanned some of these things here, and only a few of them, about 12 of them, because I saw some duplicates in here. Joseph E. Levine presents The Sky Above and the Mud Below. Yeah, the best thing you can do for your customers is screw them on shipping. And then that would make them, you know, they said, and there says, warning, do not buy from the seller. I got charged $16 and only cost $5 a ship. That does not instill confidence, regardless of how nice your items are. And it's Academy Award winning adventure, and it's in color. Oh no, it isn't, it's in black and white. Embassy Pictures release. So again, this was for TV more than likely. That's why it's in black and white. You know, regardless of the color movie originally, you got to see a lot of things, you know, in color, black and white, even if you did have a color TV back in the day. You know, so this would have been a movie from the late 40s, early 50s, and then this would have been presented somewhere in the late 50s or so, because I was seeing films and other things that were getting close to the end of the 50s, I think. And so I won't go in the whole story, and I might, oops, cancel. That was the last one there. And then I have to go backwards here. Let's get them bigger here. The Passionate Thief with Anna Magnani and Ben Gazzara. And Ben Gazzara was sort of a James Bondish type person back then, in all kinds of different stuff. Nobody I know would even know who Ben Gazzara was unless they watch him in some sort of Western or whatever. So that's all I have to say about that one. That's an Embassy Pictures release. This one here is if I can get to it, this is an Embassy Pictures release as well. Joseph E. Levine presents No Place Like Homicide. So the creepy looking guy in a coffin. Now what does a person do with these? They can make 8x10s and do whatever the crud they want with these. So that is that. And there's no actor names there, so we'll have to look that up at a later time. I have, see again, Passionate Thief. I don't have doubles of that. I actually took a picture of the same one. Then we have Wake Up and Live. Now this is not crooked, but my machine made it crooked, so I'll get that figured out here. But if you notice, it's got Ben Burney, Walter Winchell, and Jack Haley. And you're like, Jack Haley? Oh my gosh, is that the same Jack Haley that was in The Wizard of Oz? And yes, it is. Those eyes give it away. I think he was a Tin Man, if I'm not mistaken there. This is an NTA release. And NTA stands for National Television academy or association or something like that. I admit that I looked it up once and 100% forgot what it was. So don't grill me on that one. But I've been grilled before when I had swap meet booths, and somebody, before I could even explain my predicament, the guy chewed me out for giving him, he had the right answers and I didn't, and he said, "You're a liar, and I'm calling you out on it, because you were telling me a fib, and I knew the answer, but again, when people know the answer and blurt out something wrong, that doesn't mean they didn't know the answer. It just means that they just have some issues that they can't correct. And I want to punch that guy in the nose, because that was very rude of him to do that. But anyway, this is the Man Who Loved Redheads with Maura Shearer, an NTA release, and that's why I don't sell at Swap Meets anymore. Everybody's complaining that your items are $1 and you're overcharging. Now we got this one here. And we've got Follow the Sun. Now this is just an orphan one here. It got mixed in the lot here. Why that got in there, I don't know, because this is an early 1950s or late 50s, early 60s television show. I cannot tell you who these guys are because I wouldn't even know. You know, these guys are just falling to obscurity. This guy I think was somebody, but again, I don't remember. A lot of these guys were also, you know, musical artists at the same time, you know, some sort of, you know, crooner in the background. Time to Kill with Lloyd Nolan, an NTA release, and there's that one there. We also have, I don't know if you saw that one already, High Noon with Grace Coop. I've butchered that 5 times. I see Grace before I see Gary. I don't know why that is. Grace Kelly is smaller than Gary Cooper. High Noon with Gary Cooper and Grace Kelly. Another NTA release, and I'll zoom in there a little bit for you. There's that one there. I could probably get my money back just on that one there. But with all the reproduction of media, you have a very, very small window. So because of everybody has basically copied everything on eBay to sell for a couple dollars, all of this stuff here is basically costing crazy amounts of money, but you have your audience is basically shrunken by 90%. So this seller actually has more of these type of things here in lots here, and they are sitting there and nobody buying them. The Iron Curtain, Gene Tierney and Dana Andrews. I believe that's Dana Andrews right there. Another NTA release. We got a few more here. We have Sophia Loren and Two Women, and all you guys are going to say, oh my gosh, send that to Sophia Loren to get her autograph it. Again, she's probably 90 or 91. She lives in Switzerland, and I'm not sending no 8x10. It's like, well, print it in a smaller size. And I said, forget it, I've already gotten her. And the only reason I wrote Sophia Loren is because I had Switzerland postage, and it worked. I found the Switzerland stamp in a junk bin at a stamp shop. And so essentially my postage was free dollars. Then we have Where the Hot Wind Blows with Marcello Mastroianni, Melina Mercouri, Gina Lollobrigida, and Yves Montand. And Gina Lollobrigida was the easiest one to say, and I want to say that's her right on the end there. Again, I kind of scanned that poorly, but this is just only to show you a few of them. I'd probably make another video going into depth of what these are and maybe what I think they were used for. And this one came out pretty good with Chips Rafferty. It's another color one in black and white here. And again, somebody these might have been colorized, and then maybe they were turned into black and white for TV or to resell or do something with an Embassy Pictures release. This came from a big collector that died, I think, in the early 2000s or something, and he had, you know, probably $1 million collection. That was appraised back then in like the early 2000s for like $1 million, and this is part of his collection. And he is not important. He is not, you know, the guy who's written the book, you know, on all the baseball cards. I can't think of his guy's name right now, but you know, so it's not Jefferson Burdick, so it's not part of his type of collection. It's just a guy that just collected stuff and was kind of a kooky guy and had mental issues, saved all these crazy amounts of images. Now, I'm not going to collect that many, but I will do stuff with the ones, and I had no choice in the matter. I had to go through what the available auctions were there, or listings were, and I had to basically say, okay, I want this image, and I'll just have to take all the other ones. So this would not have been one I wanted. So I'll probably do a part 2 and show you all all the rest of them the best that I can. And there's still some stuff to find out there on eBay, but the shipping is just absolutely just atrocious. Wasn't a great day for me. I wasted 2 hours this morning on easily answered questions, but people just wanted to waste my... Everybody just felt like wasting my time today. And I wasted a good 2 hours. Actually closer to 3 hours today. And then, the time that I took off cost me 3 hours. And I still have that broken answering machine. The answering machine should have been shipped on Thursday or Friday when I ordered it, and then it was shipped on Monday. So the entire weekend was a bust. So unfortunately, those things happen, and so I just, say, well, why don't you just do it on this number and that phone and everything, and I just can't give everybody my personal iPhone number. It's not how I roll. So that is the video for today, and hope you got something out of it. Thank you for watching.